Hey guys, so today I'm gonna solve an introductory fluid mechanics problem. So what we got here is a skydiver with a mass of 70 kilograms jumps from an aircraft. The aerodynamic drag force acting on the skydiver is known to be F sub D equals kV squared, where K is equal to 0.25 newtons times second squared divided by meter squared. And we're asked to determine the maximum speed of the free fall and the speed reached after 100 meters of fall. So first thing we gotta do is draw a free body diagram, which I did over here, and define the axes. So I defined the upwards direction to be the positive y direction and the right direction to be the positive x direction. And now what we got two forces on the mass, or the skydiver, and the upper force is the force of drag, and downwards would be the gravitational force, and that's why it's negative, because according to our axes it's going downwards, so it's negative. So what we know is that the mass is 70 kilograms, we know the drag force, and we know the constant K. The next step is, if you recall from your dynamics class, that we could sum the forces in the x and y direction. I'm going to start with the y. Summation of forces in the y direction would be mass times acceleration, and the summation of forces in the x direction would equal to 0, because we don't have any forces in the x direction. So we could write the following equation, which is F sub y is equal to force of drag minus mg, which is the force of gravity. Now Fy is just mass times acceleration, so we're left with this expression. Now when the diver reaches the maximum velocity, that means that the diver is no longer gaining any speed, because the drag force and the gravitational force is equaling out, which means that we would have no acceleration. So this term over here would reduce to 0. So from that, we'd get that force of drag minus mg is equal to 0. So if we go ahead and substitute the values for force of drag, which is kV squared, I hope you could see that, minus mg, and solve for the velocity, because that's what we're looking for. In this case, we'd get v squared is equal to mg over k, and we'd be left with v max is equal to square root of mg over k. If we go ahead and substitute the values, we'd get 70 kilograms times 9.81, which is our gravitational force, all divided by our constant, which is 0.25. We would get that the maximum velocity is equal to 52.2 meters per second. And that's how you get the maximum velocity.